What's up, y'all? So, I have seen a couple of you talk about how your hair is very similar to this. And you say that you experience this on a regular basis, or your child experiences this as well. And I would like to address it. Let's talk about how we can not experience this anymore and how we can improve your hair care process so that you have easier wash days. So before I get into it, let's talk about her hair history. She did let me know that she shampoos her hair about every 2 to 3 months, and she doesn't really deeply detangle because it feels like a pain to her. Not that it actually hurts, but for her it was really difficult because she just didn't know how to do it. She didn't have the skills, and she mostly wore her hair in wigs and weaves. She had been natural for about, I believe, 7 years, and she never wore her hair out. And as you can see in the video, her hair is quite long. However, she didn't really put in the proper care that it needed to actually be able to maintain that length. Also, as you can see, I'm detangling and clumps of hair are falling out, and that's partially because the hair was matted. So that's kind of matting looks different in different hair textures. So obviously matting will look different in a very fine or straight hair versus our type of hair. Essentially, she had a lot of healthy hair that has single strand knots, but not just through the knot, but from other shed hairs. So it's like a lot of hairs were just connected to each other. And it was almost like trying to detangle a web instead of just your typical detangling. So that, as I mentioned in the caption on Instagram, that took me about 90 minutes to detangle. And as you can see, well, you may not be able to see very clearly, but there is a lot of conditioner on her hair to improve the slip, because without conditioner, this would not be an easy process. Honestly, this process wouldn't even be possible. So let's talk about some ways that you can avoid your hair turning into this. So, number one, I know it's been said many, many times, but I think it is so important to keep up with your trims. And as a professional, I think the best rhythm is getting a trim every 3 to 4 months. This is not a hard and fast rule, but I think it's a good guideline to help you start to keep up with your hair maintenance. And if you really think about it, if you get your hair trimmed every 4 months, you're getting your hair trimmed 3 times a year. You can even push it out to every 6 months. That's twice a year to maintain your ends. And I like to think of it like getting my nails trimmed. I mean, obviously, I'm wearing nail extensions, but if I never ever trimmed my nails, I think I'm running the risk of them getting caught in one in my hair and just on things, and now they're breaking in a way that I don't intend them to break because I like my nails to look a particular way. So I prefer to shape them in that manner than to just let them break and be jaggedy and be all different types of lengths. And I think that's what happens to our hair whenever we don't trim it. It just starts to break and do its thing and tangle and mat within each other. And now you're facing a bigger problem than necessary. So, whatever rhythm works for you, keep doing that. However, I do think it's good to start at every 3 to 4 months. That is also why it's important to go to a hairstylist, a tested and proven hairstylist that is good with natural hair, to let you know whether your hair needs a trim and when you should schedule your next trim. And at the end of the day, you have your own agency, so you can choose when you should do it yourself as well. So once you've gotten your hair trimmed, that is not all you need, because just trimming it will not solve the issues that you are facing when it comes to your hair constantly velcroing with itself. One of the things you're probably not doing is doing a deep conditioning treatment. So I think it's very important to deep condition your hair, because what deep conditioner does is, to keep it simple, deep conditioning essentially forces moisture into your hair strands. So I think it's important to do it once a week to once a month, depending on your hair, of course. I see a lot of low porosity girls who probably need it more often because their cuticles don't lift easily to receive moisture. But then there are also a lot of high porosity people who have trouble retaining moisture as well. So I think the best thing to do is find rhythm when it comes to deep conditioning and stick with it. It is also very important to find a very high quality deep conditioner. One of the ones I will say that I've been loving in the salon is the Purology Hydrate You might see it in another video that I've posted or on my Amazon list. And also, anything that I've listed on Amazon, feel free to purchase the products elsewhere. I just like to use Amazon as a place to where people can see what I like to recommend. And if you prefer to buy it from Ulta or Sephora, feel free. This is just a recommendation. And of course, if you have your own deep conditioner, keep using it. One of the things I know is anytime I find a good deep conditioner, I stick with it. So as I mentioned earlier, Pureology Hydrate. I have enjoyed the Joyco moisture mask, I believe. Olaplex has a moisture mask. Amika has a soul food and another, I believe it's Amika Hydrate as well. It's in a blue jar. There are so many great professional deep conditioners that I think can do wonders on your hair. Also, Sacred, I'll be talking about this in another video, but Sacred has a great deep conditioner. I love the deep conditioner. I will definitely say if you have the budget to invest in that, that's another great option. And one little trick, DIY trick, I don't really love DIY. I don't really love doing DIY as much anymore. I'm not totally against it. I'll do it every now and then. But I like clients to choose things that are already professionally formulated. But I will say, one little trick that I have found to make my regular conditioners into deep conditioners is to add honey. Add honey and aloe vera even. So I'll get the deep conditioner. Let's say I get a plastic cup and I'll pour the deep conditioner into it, and then I'll add about 2 tablespoons of honey and 1 tablespoon of aloe vera. Mix that all together, and I'm telling you, that makes it a deep conditioner because there's something about the honey that forces moisture into your hair. Honey is a humectant, aloe vera is a humectant, so those 2 ingredients alone create a very great environment for your hair to be deep conditioned. Especially if you add heat with that, it's even better. I would not add those things directly to your hair per se. Maybe honey mixed in with other things, but adding aloe vera directly to your hair, or let me not say your hair. Let me say my hair. When I've added those 2 things directly to my hair, I didn't really enjoy what it did to my hair, the way it felt. However, adding it into a product that I allowed to sit, that will eventually be rinsed out, gave me great benefit. So that is one thing to consider whenever you're doing DIY things. Another thing that I think you should definitely be incorporating into your hair, if your hair tends to tangle a lot or if it is very tightly coiled and you tend to experience matting, is you need a really good leave-in conditioner. I think leave-in conditioners are the real game changers. Outside of deep conditioning and conditioners, I think those are the second most important parts of hair care. Leave-in conditioners are the thing that's going to help your hair retain moisture. So if your hair is getting very velcro-y, if it's matting with each other, it's usually because there is something creating friction or not allowing your hair to slide past each other because there is too much friction. So to reduce friction, number one, you need to increase moisture, and you can also increase the oil levels. So it depends on the style you're doing, of course, because if I'm doing a blowout, I'm not going to put oil on my hair, but I will use a leave-in because blow drying the hair can cause drying, and I don't think it can cause heat damage depending on how the blow drying is done. But heat being applied to the hair can cause your hair to be dry. And what does dry hair do? Dry hair breaks. So if you are applying anything that could cause drying to the hair, you always want to prevent that by adding a leave-in conditioner. So I actually have a video where I talk about some of my favorite leave-in. Definitely go check that out. But again, leave-in in your routine, usually in any type of styling, is very important. Whether you're going to do a wash and go, whether you're going to do a twist style, maybe not. But definitely when you're doing heat styling, you most definitely need a leave-in conditioner in your routine. Now, we've talked about trimming, we've talked about deep conditioning, we've talked about leave-in conditioners. I think the last thing that can keep your hair from getting to this point, or rather that can help your hair, if your hair is already very tightly coiled, if you experience a lot of tangling, or if it tends to mat, I think it's great to add something that can improve the slip on your hair. So one of the things I believe most type 4 naturals should be doing is detangling their hair prior to applying any shampoo. Because what happens is while you're wearing your hair is accumulating tangles. And if you just go straight in with shampoo without detangling it, to me, you're adding to the matting process. Now you have a bigger problem on your hands down the line. So it's really important to get all the tangles out first, shampoo, and not like shampoo like this. Like really take your time to shampoo in a particular direction so that your hair is not also getting any friction. Remember, friction can create tangles, and we don't want to create more tangles because our hair is already, when I say our hair, type 4 hair, depending on your porosity and other factors, can tend to tangle more. So almost anything can cause tangles, so you want to reduce that. So anytime I'm shampooing my hair, I try to just, of course, I'm scrubbing, but I'm also working the shampoo down my shaft. And I think that process alone is reducing the tangles. So you always want to think about what ways can I reduce tangling through my whole wash day routine. So again, using a product that has good slip. I've mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again. Aussie Moist is a great conditioner. It's a regular conditioner, but you can use it for detangling your hair because it has great slip. The African Pride hair detangler, it's literally meant for pre-shampoo hair detangling. And there are also a couple of YouTubers that I've seen that have their own pre-shampoo, very high slip products that you can consider. Just know that whatever you do before you shampoo, detangle with something that has good slip. And I would also stay away from detangling with oil. I used to have a client that did that. She's improved in her hair care so much, and I'm so happy for her. But she used to detangle with olive oil, and it was just not working for her. And then she switched over to a product that I recommended, and now she practically has no tangles. And she has very tight, type 4, what we would consider 4C hair. So it's not about the hair texture. It's really about the methods that you're using that may be causing you stress whenever it comes to taking care of your hair. So trims, deep conditioning, leave-in conditioning, and finding a product with great slip. These are the 4 things that can really be helpful when it comes to taking care of this type of hair, our type of hair, type 4 hair, 4C hair, whatever you want to call it. I think our hair is beautiful and it doesn't have to be difficult to take care of. So take your time whenever you're dealing with your hair and really take the time to learn how to actually take care of it so that you're not ending up in the bucket of people who say natural hair just isn't for me or I'm over my natural hair. Like I think my passion is to help people really enjoy their hair. I don't think the natural hair care process needs to be difficult, and I definitely want to remove that stigma from our hair care and help us get to a place where we actually enjoy wearing our hair and taking care of it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you here again next time. Please like the video because it really helps me out, and subscribe, share with a friend if you can, and I hope to see you here again. Bye.